Alexander the Great, perhaps the greatest emperor in the history of civilization. He was born in Pella and trained for combat his entire life. His father, Philip, was the king of the Macedon Greek kingdom. He was an excellent leader with a large army. He was assassinated in 336 BC. Alexander developed an empire spanning from Greece, where he destroyed local revolts after the passing of his father, all the way across Asia Minor, Syria, all the way into India and Egypt. Alexander the Great was considered liberator and considered himself a god, claiming his father not to be Philip, but rather, perhaps, the equivalent of Zeus. No. The city of Alexandria, which he developed out of a very small ancient Egyptian town, prospered into the capital of Greece, and it was a Hellenistic capital of the world. Of course, Hellenism was the point where Greek culture was at its highest influence throughout other parts of the world, and it began to die as the Roman Empire began to take form.
Born in the Greek town of Pella within the Macedon kingdom of his father in 356 BC, Alexander was trained his whole life for military combat. Alexander was allegedly tortured as a child, however, not by his father. This likely led to not only his patience, but also his ability to strategically plan in long term, but also prevented him from hatred relative to his father, and the fostering of his dreams of military success. Not only would he wish to move into such a prosperous military career, but along with the philosophy of humanism, take it a few steps further. This is, out of the Greece and into the vast empire that he so formed, using the brute force that he was introduced to in childhood.
It's a boy!
I shall name him Alexander.
And we shall give him this spear to train him for combat.
I'm sorry.
Philip, your horse has arrived.
Yay! I will conquer nations on this steed.
Oh, I'm Alexander. Oh. It likes me. Maybe I will conquer nations.
One must grab the stone from my hand to complete his training.
We will protect you, Philip. Ah!
He's dead. He's dead. He's dead. No. No.
A council of nobles met to decide on who would lead the kingdom's army in the absence of Philip. Alexander was an obvious choice, as he was combat trained and the son of Philip. He also had prior military experience. His age of 20 years old was not a problem. Soon, revolts broke out across Greece in an attempt to take control of more land and resources. Alexander had a strong force and soon moved toward the Laci and then onto Corinth.
Philip is dead. The Greeks are raising armies. Soon, our entire kingdom will be under attack.
We need a leader to take control.
How about Alexander, Philip's son? He should take control and get his father's army.
All in favor? Alexander on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Alexander!
I'm Alexander! This is my army! Okay. Alexander the Great, at that point only Alexander, as he had only completed his conquest of Greece, had a very strong army, as well as already very, very much prestige. He was the king not only of his father's kingdom, but he had also really taken Greece when he traveled through Corinth and destroyed the philosopher that so defied him. Now, that was another example of him turning the experiences from his childhood and destroying all those who insulted them and all those who opposed him in any way, as he so wished to, as he had developed that hatred in his childhood. So he moved through Asia Minor and Syria with absolute brute force. Now, raping the women and selling them as slaves, killing all men of military age, whether they fought or not, even after surrender. Then he quickly moved into Egypt and, with little to no opposition, began the formation of Alexandria, the great Hellenistic capital of Egypt. You will die at my hand. Haha. I have snuck with a sneak attack over the river, and with that sneak attack I have surprised these people. I have used genius strategy to take this area.
I am the leader of Corinth and also a great philosopher.
I am Alexander the Great. What can you do for me?
Nothing. Now move, you are blocking my sunlight. As Alexander moved into Egypt, he found a small town on the west mouth of the Nile. He noticed that this town had excellent agricultural land and a fine harbor. There was good anchorage, healthy climates, fresh water, and limestone quarries, which he used to create new buildings. He told his architect to create a city to be the new center of trade and civilization. He never lived to see the completion of his city. It was named after him, and he was buried there.
Upon this small village, I can build the capital of my great empire, and the capital of Egypt. It is right next to the Mediterranean Sea and branching off of the Nile. It has fertile land and obviously a beautiful harbor. This anchorage and limestone quarry. And of course the water is fresh, the climate is wonderful. I can build values of trade and education and prosperity. Dinocrates, you have beautiful land and perfect anchorage and an amazing harbor. You have resources, you have my money, and the power of my army. Build a center of the world with education, trade, prosperity. You have the resources. Build me an emperor.
Yes, sir.
Empire. Medius, my boy.
Alexander.
We will drink this in honor of Hercules.
Yes, we will drink.
Unmixed wine, but nevertheless,
You first.
I am Alexander the Great.
Yes.
I
you
am
first.
undefeatable. Oh, I have a terrible fever.
Oh.
Ah,
I'm incapable of speaking.
Alexander! Doctor! Doctor!
Alexander the Great is dead.
People of the Empire, Alexander the Great has died from poison wine. We will rename this city Alexandria and bury him in the center of it. To replace Alexander the Great as emperor, we will have Ptolemy.